So in this video we'll be creating the model you can see in the drawing on screen, and this drawing can be found in the appendix section of the ebook. So there's some interesting features in this drawing, such as a midplane extrusion, cuts, and varying types of fillets. So we'll switch over to SolidWorks part file and begin to model. So we're going to start our model with a sketch on the front plane. So I'm going to start off with a center line, and we're going to draw on the front plane. So I'll look normal to the front plane and just a center line any length. Double click to release the command, and I'm going to use my line tool then and draw the outline of our profile. Now we can press F to fit the screen. So next I'm going to add in my relations once the outline has been drawn. So the first relation I'm going to add is a midpoint relation between the bottom line and the origin. So we make sure they hit at the midpoint. Secondly, I'm going to add a symmetrical relation between my two sloping edges and the center line. So that's symmetric. Now my relations have been added, I can start to add dimensions. So the dimension shortcut, hold down the right mouse button and drag upwards, and we're going to start with our smallest dimension, which is 1 over here. Next is the top, which is 11.2. The bottom, we'll do next, 15.3. And finally the height, which is 12.7. F again to fit the screen, and as you can see my sketch has turned black, so this means it's fully defined. So I'm ready to move on to my extrusion. So for this profile in particular, we're going to use what's called a midplane extrusion. So in the direction, instead of blind, which we've been using before, we're going to use a midplane extrusion. So this will extrude equally either side of the plane. So our measurement is 7.8, and you put in the total measurement in here, and the plane divides it up itself. So we can accept that. And the reason for this is now the origin is still in the center of our profile. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to shell out our model. So we click the shell command in the command manager. And the parameters the distance we're going to shell it to is 1.5. And the second thing it's asking us faces to remove. So it's from the bottom, we're going to shell up the way. So I select the bottom face and OK. As you can see now, our piece is shelled to 1.5 the whole way around. We'll get it back in trimetric. Now the next thing we're going to do is cut out the circular holes on either side. So as we know from our drawing, these holes are normal to the slanted face. So in order to get normal to them, we're going to click on the face and click normal to. So now we are normal to the face. So I'm going to start with a sketch. We're going to start with a circle. So we're going to sketch a circle anywhere here. Double click to release command, and we can then relate our circle first before we dimension it. So the first thing I'm going to do is relate the circle and the origin. So we'll make this a vertical relation. As you can see, once the little green boxes pop up with the relation, next we can dimension our circle. So the diameter of our circle is 4 millimeters. And finally, we will dimension the circle to the bottom of our model. So in this case, it is 9 millimeters. Now our sketch has turned black, so it's fully defined. So next we can use features in the command manager and extruded cut. So we'll just move this around to get a better look at it. This is the preview at the moment. The cut is going blind, but for our end condition, we are going to choose up to next. And that's okay. Sorry, up to next rather than up to vertex. So as you can see, the cut has stopped at the next surface. So this is important for our design intent, because if we were to change the width of the shell at any time, this wouldn't affect our hole, as it'd stay cutting up to the next surface. So even if our shell got bigger or smaller, our cuts wouldn't be affected. So now we can use the mirror feature to mirror our cut geometry to the other side. So the first question we're going to ask is the mirror face or the mirror plane. In this instance, we're going to use the right plane to mirror. So we can get that on our design tree here. And this has all been made very handy because we located our origin in the center of our model. So now we've mirrored our feature and we have two identical cuts. So next we're going to do our circular extrude on the top surface. So we'll start with a sketch and we'll use a circle for the sketch and select a plane. So we'll draw on the top surface and we will go normal to this, make things handier. So just draw my circle Anton at the moment, and I can dimension it to 4.8 in this case. 4.8. And our sketch geometry is black again because it is related to the origin and it has been dimensioned, so it's fully defined. So now we can go to the command manager and extruded boss. So in this case, it is 5.5. So we can accept that. Click F to center our geometry. So the final thing we need to do is add in the fillets. So the fillets are a feature that add material to the geometry. So we're going to click on the fillet up here in the feature manager, and we're going to start with the smaller fillets first. So we'll type in our fillet radius is 1 millimeters, and we're going to ask for a full preview. So items to fillet. So we're going to select the 4 edges. 1, 2. We can rotate our geometry by pressing down the mouse wheel. 4. Now we do the 4 edges first, and we'll do the top second because the top is tangential. So we'll do the 4 first. So we can accept them. And now we'll go fillet again, and we're going to select the top edge. And as you can see, the whole face is selected because we've ticked the tangent propagation over here in the feature manager. So now we can accept that. That gives a much nicer finish when done in that order. Okay, so now we'll have a look at the other fillets. which is their smaller radius 0.1, so we'll type that in our feature manager. And once again, we look for a full preview. So these are the top face, the intersection between the cut and, or the extrude and the top face, the edge of our circle, and this little bit here. So we'll accept that. No, I clicked the F there by accident and it filled in as a global variable, but we can just clear that again. So now we'll move on to the smaller fillets, and they were radius 0.1, so we'll fill that in our feature manager, and we can start selecting the area. So it's the top, the intersection between the extrude and the top surface, the edge of the circular cuts or the holes, and this little piece down at the bottom, and the edge of our circle. So we'll accept those fillets, and now we can finish our model by adding a appearance. So in this case, we're going to add in a red appearance, so plastic, to match our material. So plastic and red medium gloss plastic. And once again, put it over the whole part. So that's all for this lesson.